Welcome back to the Crypto Bootcamp class. This is Module 8, How to Research a Coin. Now, when researching a coin, you're going to employ something called fundamental analysis. Fundamental analysis essentially is taking the time to understand a coin front to back, doing everything you can to learn about what it is, what the team is like, what's their mission, how are they structured, what their roadmap is, what deadlines they have set, how are they different than their competition, what's the community like, and very importantly, what is the white paper like? So I'm resolute that there's many different steps to fundamental analysis in terms of doing a proper analysis of a coin. But the number one step that I recommend to people that they almost certainly will try to avoid or skip over is reading the white paper. So many times people ask me to give my opinion on a coin, and I'll ask back, did you read the white paper? 9 times out of 10, the answer will be no. Reading the white paper may seem like it's a hard thing to do, or it's very dry, or it's very boring. But when it really comes down to it, if you're making an investment, the white paper is essential. It's mandatory. It is the best source of information as to what is going on with this project and what they aim to do that you could possibly have. Reading the white paper is mandatory because it's the best, most comprehensive way to gain an understanding of a project and if it deserves your investment. There's almost no universal truths when it comes to cryptocurrency projects, but here's one. Just about every project has a white paper. The trouble is there's no standard, no universal structure or best practice when it comes to these documents. A white paper is essentially just what a project aims to do and how they aim to do it. Reading the white paper will give you a perspective on the project you might not otherwise have, and it doesn't have to take long. Most people skip this step or rebuke it as unnecessary. But you're not going to be one of those people. Hopefully by now you have a basic understanding of the project that you're looking at, and hopefully you're starting to form an opinion on it. After reading the white paper, you'll be able to solidify both of those. So again, what is a white paper? Well, by the power of example, you know what it is. It's a written document to better understand a technical project behind an established coin. But a white paper isn't restricted to ICOs or the crypto space. A white paper is a document long used in business. According to Wikipedia, a white paper is an authoritative report or guide that informs readers concisely about a complex issue and presents the issuing body's philosophy on the matter. It is meant to help readers understand an issue, solve a problem, or make a decision. Essentially, it helps readers understand, and is an informational document meant to deliver you the best information without the PR or marketing filter of the promotional content we get to find on websites, flyers, or advertisement. Now, that's not always the case. As you begin to read through white papers, you'll find that there's a huge diversity in the types out there. Some projects use their white paper as an extension of their marketing, filling it full of marketing jargon and buzzwords. Some are very short, some feel like PhD dissertations. Some are painfully shy of details, while others are excruciating in their level of detail. Lots of times, these white papers are long and full of technical lingo. If you ever take the time to read an entire white paper, oftentimes you'll feel like you ought to get a gold medal for your efforts. Sure, bragging rights are great, but there are much more important reasons for taking the time to do this. What you'll learn about crypto white papers is that, the good ones at least, are designed to do several things. Inform the public and you of the project, promote the project and sell the idea, tell you what they aim to accomplish, which is sometimes full of marketing, give you the mission and how they aim to accomplish it, why they believe their product is needed. Oftentimes they'll write an abstract, which is a good summary of this. Essentially, they'll tell you about a problem and give you the solution. They should have a roadmap, which is a timeline of milestones they want to reach and when they aim to reach them. Not all projects will include this, and some are scant of details, but a good roadmap should tell you where they've been and where they want to go. They'll also tell you their methodology and what methods for meeting their goals they aim to use. If it's an ICO or they've done some sort of token distribution, they should give you the details on that token distribution, meaning how many of the coins are going out to the public and how many are being held by the founders. So in summary, there's a few sections every white paper must have: a problem, a solution and the product aimed to solve that problem, a token implementation, some outline of the team if they're not already on the website, and finally their token deployment and how they aim to distribute their tokens. Learning about these aspects of a crypto project will help you better understand all that goes into creating new cryptocurrencies. White papers are also great tools for beginners to be exposed to higher level crypto vocabulary. More often than not, you'll come across words that make you feel like you're missing something, and that's where Google is your best friend. Don't be afraid to look up words you don't know, and don't be afraid to learn something new. Sure, it can be tedious and overwhelming, but if you're interested in deepening your knowledge in this space, white papers are a great source, and there's plenty of good ones out there for you to explore. After you've read a few of them, you'll begin to develop a better sense of what makes a good white paper, which is also an indication of the quality of the crypto project itself. You'll notice things like what kind of info they are leaving out, which is also a very good skill you need to hone if you want to be good at fundamental analysis. If their project has legitimate use cases, because it's all well and good for them to claim to be able to solve the world's problems or disrupt billion-dollar companies, but if the only way they're going to get there is to rely on the network effect, meaning they're only successful if a bunch of people use their product, then you should be skeptical. And the type of philosophies that are behind the project. Slowly but surely, you'll begin honing your skills and developing more confidence in your knowledge of this space. One of the other benefits of reading the white paper is that it forces you to critically evaluate the website. This is the first pass of your sniff test that you can tell a lot from just the website whether a project is worthy of your time and money. If it's using terms like Web 4.0 or nonsensical buzzwords, if it's unprofessional and has an anonymous team, stay away. If they don't include a roadmap in the white paper, hopefully they'll have it on the front page. You should be able to compare what was promised to what was actually delivered so far. Through a combination of the website and the white paper, you should fully understand how this crypto functions and how it is trying to create value. If there's no use case or the use case does not require or benefit from a blockchain, move on. Look for red flags like massive amounts of founders' coins, the coins the founders take for themselves, vague definitions of who would use the coin, anonymous teams, promises of large payouts or guaranteed payouts, etc. As best as possible, you should begin to see what is your impression. If nothing else, make sure you understand what the project is doing. Take notes of what you believe is the most important and compelling features of this project. Write down what you think it does in 1 or 2 sentences in your research document. In summary, a good white paper gets the point across, does not market or use marketing lingo, describes how they aim to counter attacks against the cryptocurrency, and describes the mathematics and cryptography adequately and technically. Whereas a bad white paper looks like a PowerPoint presentation, doesn't include any mathematics, lacks references, and tries to cover for the lack of innovation. Now, one big caveat to this step is that you need to understand context. You can judge a cryptocurrency project based on their white paper, but it should be clear that I don't believe that the white paper is the end-all be-all of evaluating a project. Is it a great tool to have in fundamental analysis? Yes, absolutely. But what I have to stress is that the thing most investors are missing when they look at a white paper is that the blockchain and the project under consideration will almost certainly change. Why? Because technology changes. Use cases will expand. Other blockchains will compete for attention. In other words, innovation happens and there's no reason to think it won't happen to blockchains. What you really want to think about then is how it happens for the project you are evaluating. It's much better to evaluate a crypto project the way you evaluate a startup. You assume the starting point is a starting point, not an endpoint. I see crypto investors evaluate a white paper like a final product, and that's where they go wrong. When I look at crypto projects, I think about a different set of things. I think about where they're starting and where they're likely to be in a year, in 5 years, and 10 years, and the path they're likely to take to get there. And so once I've established an understanding and researched the white paper to gain a lot of the critical knowledge about what the project is, what it's doing, and how they plan to do it, I look at the white paper as a solid base or foundation, the past tense of the project. Now I want to see where it's going, how it's making that progress, and how it's adapting. And notice all those words end with ing, future tense words. And unfortunately, you can't gain that from a static document. You need to see the path ahead for this project. So take time to look into the team, take time to understand what the community is saying about this crypto project. Essentially, the white paper is just a piece of the entire crypto puzzle. Yes, it's a very big, important piece, but it's just a piece. To fully research and understand a project, you need to have a more holistic view. So in the next module, we'll talk about how I'd look at a white paper and evaluate a project. Additionally, we'll also have some fun and look at some terms that are associated with the crypto space and what you need to know about them.